Imagine being trapped in your car for days on end as extreme winter weather patterns work their way across your entire continent. While this may seem intense, that's exactly what multiple people experienced in Europe recently as the continent witnessed its heaviest snowfall in decades. This weather caused hundreds, if not thousands, of deaths across European countries. At Worcester, it's easy to be caught up in the Worcester bubble and fail to pay attention to breaking news in the rest of the world. I realized this as I searched for a speech topic and found I was unaware of the devastating situation in Europe. Having grown up in an area with winter weather conditions, I can only imagine the extent to which these conditions have affected the continent. Furthermore, because I plan to study abroad in London next spring, which was one of the areas impacted by the weather, I figured it would be beneficial to learn about my topic. Extreme winter weather conditions have multiple effects, and although they haven't influenced Worcester just yet, it's possible we might experience them in the future. Therefore, today I will inform you on the phenomenon of winter weather, the effects that accompany it, and its various implications. I will first share general facts regarding the recent cold snap in Europe. I will next explain the direct effects it had on everyday life, and I will finally explain how winter weather can expose various ethical issues for governments. So, what constitutes extreme winter weather? One common characteristic is heavy snowfall. The Guardian reported on February 5, 2012, that both Bosnia and Italy experienced over 7 feet of snowfall in a short period of time, while Rome witnessed its heaviest snowfall in 27 years. Another characteristic is bitter temperatures. Business Week reported on February 6, 2012, that this was the coldest Russia has been in 75 years, with temperatures falling as low as negative 58 degrees Fahrenheit. This led over 60 people to freeze to death, while in the Ukraine, over 1,200 people were hospitalized with frostbite. Unfortunately, another characteristic of extreme winter weather is high death tolls. The Chicago Tribune wrote on February 5, 2012, that extreme winter weather brought, and I quote, death and misery across Europe. Now that you know the details of extreme winter weather, I will explain their consequences. One area obviously impacted by these conditions is the transportation system. The Chicago Tribune wrote on February 5, 2012, that British airports were forced to close overnight because of the conditions, and emergency helicopters had to be used to deliver supplies to people who were isolated by the snow. Another area obviously impacted is government businesses and schools who were forced to close because of the snow. The Guardian reported on February 5, 2012, that in Serbia, the army even had to be called in to help clear away the snow so these businesses could reopen. A final consequence is increased energy consumption. The Chicago Tribune reported on February 6, 2012, that the huge surge in the need for power to heat homes left over 86,000 Italians without power. In these situations, governments are forced to declare states of emergency and implement emergency procedures. This leads me to my final point of ethics. Governments must realize that not all citizens can afford the essential services they need, such as heating, to survive these conditions. The Guardian reported on February 5, 2012, that one population clearly affected by the weather was the homeless, and many of these homeless people died. In fact, the Daily News reported on February 5, 2012, that the Roman government even lifted restrictions on its homeless shelters so that more people could be accommodated. I hope that today I've burst your Worcester bubble, giving you a better idea of the situation that recently unfolded in Europe. You now know the details of the cold snap in Europe, its various consequences, and related ethical issues. Perhaps the next time that you complain about walking to class in the snow, you can remind yourself that it could always be worse.